winners bracket final is upon us at the USA Softball Men's Major National Championships at one of the finest facilities for this sport you will ever find. Devon Park in Oklahoma City on a very warm night as you get a look at the conditions. And what this game also brings to us is, I think, as good a rivalry as there is in men's club softball. The finalists of last year's ISC World Tournament in Surrey, British Columbia, the Hill United Chiefs, and the newly named this year and newly sponsored Bear Creek Gremlins. Here's a look at how things will stack up defensively. Nick White, Bradley Ezekiel, Allen Pecker. It's the same lineup as they put forward in their hard-fought 2-1 victory over the JDT First Energy earlier today. Boland having a great tournament at shortstop. Fiavazo, Pipolo, Edgar Lopez, and Blake Hunter at third. And Marco Diaz and Bruno Matroni, the battery mates, to work against the very, very difficult lineup. As you get a look at the numbers for Diaz so far here in Oklahoma City. In that game earlier today, 7 innings, gave up 1 run on 5 hits, struck out 11, and walked 1. And this is a very, very talented and dangerous lineup. Leading things off, longtime Canadian national team outfielder Matthew Waugh, Remeke Anoka, Eric Ochoa, who's, I think, one of the best hitters on planet Earth, and he is hot in this tournament. Cole Evans might be as good an all-around player as there is in the sport. Avery and Mullins in the 8 and 9 hole, and it is indeed Matthew Waugh, the 36-year-old from Saint-Gervais, Quebec, who leads things off for the Bear Creek Gremlins. He's 1 for 7 here this weekend in the USA Softball Men's Major National Championship, and we are underway. Delighted to have you with us, no matter where you might be looking on from on this Saturday. And the pitching matchup, which is also a feature of arguably the 2 best pitchers on the planet, and Marco Diaz and Jack Besgrove will get the ball for the Bear Creek Gremlins. 2 balls to Matthew Waugh, and 3 consecutive from Diaz, who only walked 1 batter in the game earlier today against JDT First Energy. Matthew was 1 for 3 against Hill United in the only meeting that these 2 rivals have had this season. It came at the Mitchell, Ontario ISC qualifying tournament on the 14th of June. Won by the Gremlins by a count of 3-1. Diaz did not start that game for the Chiefs. Justin Schofield did and gave them 5 1/3 very good innings. And Matthew Waugh will walk to open the game. Matthew had a day to remember at the World Cup, albeit in a battle for 5th place, when he hit 3 home runs and drove in 8 in a win over Australia. This is Jerome Remeke. He starts tonight at first base. He has played a lot of third, but not tonight. Due to an injury he suffered last season, he missed this event and the ISC World Tournament. He was hit by Marco Diaz with a pitch and broke his forearm. So Hill United has been involved in 2 very difficult games. Their opener against the Pueblo Bandits, they won that 4-3, and then the 2-1 win earlier this afternoon against JDT. It has been a much easier progression for the Gremlins, who opened the tournament on Thursday with a 15-1 triumph over OPVS, and then followed it up with 6-0 triumphs over the Kegel Black Knights, and in their most recent game, 6-0 triumph over the Northeast Drillers. There's a pool cue shot off the bat of Remeke, the 30-year-old from Wellington, New Zealand. He's 2 for 10 so far here this weekend with a couple of doubles and 2 runs batted in. He went 4 for 15 in a silver medal winning effort for New Zealand at the World Cup in Prince Albert, where he doubled, homered, and drove in 4. Always a titanic struggle when these two teams meet, generally. Certainly that's the build-up going in. And Diaz, his pitch tails away for a ball. 2-2 with Remeke, the speedy outfielder Matthew Waugh down at first. And in this warm heat, having thrown a full 7-inning game, you wonder a little bit about what might be left in the tank. And Besgrove pitched 6 innings in the win a couple hours ago against the Northeast Drillers. The 2 games finished at just about the same time. They were both 12 p.m. or in the neighborhood starts. On the move is Waugh, but it doesn't matter because Diaz has opened the game with back-to-back walks. And it is not what you would want to do if you're Hill United, to give this vaunted hitting lineup any extra opportunities than the ones that they will deliver on their own. 34-year-old Ben Anoka, the Gremlins center fielder, in his usual number 3 spot in the lineup. 3 for 7 in Oklahoma City this weekend. 2 for 4 in their most recent win over the Northeast Drillers. It almost slams that through the dugout fence. Have seen on the gun Diaz reach 87 on a couple of occasions this weekend. As he reaches back for the rag called Gorilla Gold. It's not just the rosin anymore, although some pitchers still use it. Anoka was 0 for 3 against Hill United back on the 14th of June. And Diaz delivers a strike. Ben Anoka hit .444 at last year's ISC World Tournament in Surrey, where he found himself on the All-World team for an 8th time. Diaz with a great drop to record his first strikeout of the evening. That one really fell off and had tailing movement. The late movement in this game right around the plate, so critical. Velocity is wonderful, but late movement and your ability to change speeds. With bat technology now, I think you could throw it 150 and guys somehow, some way would still find a way to hit the ball. This might be one of the guys who could. Eric Ochoa in the designated player role for this game. Ochoa, the 31-year-old, 5 for 11 this weekend, 2 doubles and 4 runs batted in. And hit a more than tidy .364 for the United States in their bronze medal winning effort in Prince Albert at the World Cup that came to a conclusion last Sunday. And Ochoa a little behind the pitch from Marco Diaz. So the first 2 runners aboard on back-to-back walks in Waugh and Remeke. And Hill United looking to get out of a first inning jam. As Ochoa restraps the batting gloves and steps back in. Matrone, the 39-year-old veteran catcher and one of the best receivers. We might have the two best receivers in the sport. Certainly two of tonight in Matrone and the outstanding Gremlins catcher Nick Mullins. And they're both 39. Change up. It's the first one of those in the game from Diaz, who recorded 4 of his 11 strikeouts with a changeup for an out pitch against JDT. Some of the best change of pace pitches I've watched him throw this season. The 3-1 to Eric Ochoa. And fouls this away. Wind still blowing. What looks from this vantage point is Jim Flanagan, the outstanding broadcaster, mentioned in the last game. Looks like it's blowing to left center. Although I'm never going to try to pretend that I do two things, be a meteorologist or anybody involved with directions. Not my forte. Ochoa didn't like it. Diaz loved it. As Ochoa caught looking for strike 3. And after issuing a couple of free passes, back comes Marco Diaz with back-to-back strikeouts. Framed, held, and success for the Chiefs' ace pitcher. And now dealing with 26-year-old Cole Evans, the 5-tool shortstop of the Gremlins. I say this often. I think Evans was born to play this sport. There isn't anything he doesn't do exceptionally well, and is fundamentally sound in every area as any player in the sport. And he's just 26. He played in his first men's world championship in 2015 at 16 for New Zealand. And he might have at least 2 more, if not 3, left in him. Two balls and no strikes to Cole Evans from Auckland in New Zealand. He's 4 for 9 this weekend. And Diaz finds the outside portion as Cole Evans chatting back with a home plate umpire to ask him where it was. That is a regular conversation between batter, catcher, and umpire. Big spot, even though it's early. And Evans slashes that foul down the first base side. A special facility. Few like it, if at all, in the softball world. It is the home of USA Softball, the USA Softball Hall of Fame, and very well known as the regular host of the Women's College World Series, which I highly recommend if you ever get a chance to come to Oklahoma City for that event. It will also host another incredibly special tournament coming up in the year 2028. The Olympic softball tournament will be staged right here at this very diamond. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cole Evans with 2 out here in the top of the first inning. Up the middle from Evans, a base hit, and Watt, the throw in from Ezekiel, cut off. And Cole Evans, who had the huge 2-run home run when these teams collided back on the 14th of June in Mitchell, drives in the first run of the evening. As he goes up the middle to cash in Matthew Waugh. So the walks come back to hurt Diaz and the Hill United Chiefs as Cole Evans delivers again. And the batter is Abelardo Penuelas, the right fielder. Change up from Diaz that had Penuelas ducking. So the first hit is an RBI for Cole Evans, who's up to 6 here in Oklahoma City. He has made the most of his 5 hits. Diaz finds an outside corner away from Penuelas. Abelardo from Mexicali, Mexico. He had a hit in the first meeting of these two teams, their only other meeting. He's 1 for 4 at this UA Softball Men's Major National Championship. And Diaz with a little extra. And it is a warm one. The winner's bracket final. Penuelas stays alive. It is a great format, this tournament. Double knockout scenario. So the winner of this game advances with an opportunity to win this national championship. But there could be 2 games, not 1, to decide it. And Matrone just unable to squeeze it. And it hurt him a little bit. He's shaking out his left hand. As Hill United head coach Jeff Ellsworth comes out to chat with the home plate umpire. So Cole Evans has given the Bear Creek Gremlins a 1-0 lead. And Marco Diaz has thrown a lot of pitches in the top of the first. And misses up to Penuelas that time. Abelardo hit .312 at the ISC World Tournament last year for the Gremlins. Played in the previous ISC for the Oma Tigre back in 2023. 2 on, 2 out with a run in. And Diaz bounces the changeup that Matrone does an excellent job to stay in front of. The full count. Diaz trying to limit the damage. And missed outside to load the bases. The third walk of the inning for Marco Diaz. Came into this game as the Hills United ace pitcher. He only walked 18 batters in the 62 plus innings that he's pitched this season for the Chiefs. He's also thrown internationally for Team USA. Was their number one pitcher in their bronze medal winning effort in Prince Albert. And might have thrown his best game of the year in the opening game triumph over Jack Besgrove and Australia. Had a one-hit shutout. Struck out 10 and didn't walk anyone on July the 8th. But having trouble with some command, and Justin Schofield starts to make the march to the covered area and the bullpen. And there's got to be a phone out there, I'm guessing, too. I love a good phone out to the bullpen. It's always been one of my dreams to answer a phone in the bullpen or make the call from the dugout to the pen. There's probably multiple phones at this park. Ladislav Malerzuk, longtime Argentine national team member. And the changeup, down and away. Bases loaded. This half inning has lasted quite a considerable amount of time. And when these two teams meet, it can be the case. Every pitch seems to matter. And Diaz with a terrific offering on the inner half. 3 strikeouts in the inning, but gave up 1 hit, walked 3. And the Bear Creek Gremlins have opened the scoring in this winner's bracket final. We'll show you the Hill United Chiefs lineup when we return on Softball Premier TV. One nothing, as we'll set the defense and the offense for you as far as the Chiefs and the Gremlins are concerned. Let's get a peek first defensively. Anoka, Matthew Waugh, and Penuelas in the outfield. Avery is going to play at third base. Cole Evans, Malerzuk at second, and Remeke will start at first. Nick Mullins is the catcher, and the outstanding 21-year-old Australian Jack Besgrove gets the call. As you would expect, Shane Boland to lead things off. He's off to a great start here in Oklahoma City. Brad Ezekiel in the number 2 spot. Petroni, Viavazzo. It is the same batting order that Jeff Ellsworth, John Stewart, and John Hill, the great Hill United coaching staff, sent to work earlier today in the 2-1 win. So Besgrove gets the ball. Jack coming off a 6-inning victory in the Gremlins' most recent game against the Northeast Drillers. No runs, 4 hits. He struck out 7 and walked no one. For a while, you would chat about Jack Besgrove and wonder if this young 21-year-old was even human. He really did not lose a big game at any level until he lost handily to the Hill United Chiefs 7-1 in the championship final of last year's ISC World Tournament. And was not at his best for Australia either in their hopes of repeating as World Cup champions, which he was front and center in 2022. Shane Boland leading things off. Shane 2 for 4 in both games. The opener against Pueblo and versus JDT. And it was his solo home run in the bottom of the fourth that provided the game-winning blow in a 2-1 Chiefs victory. They trail it by 1 early tonight. Is Besgrove trying to set his landing spot. And Besgrove with the strikeout as he goes upstairs to get Shane Boland. The 34-year-old captain of the Hill United Chiefs, the 6-time ISC World Champions. The Gremlins trying to win a 5th straight USA Softball Men's Major National Championship. They've won the last 4. They beat the Oma Tigre in last year's championship final. Hill United finished 3rd in that event. Bradley Ezekiel, believe it or not, still looking for his first hit in Oklahoma City. .391 for Bradley on the year, with a double, a triple, 9 home runs, and 22 runs batted in. And can't imagine it will be much longer before number 11, the 38-year-old from Holyrood, Newfoundland, will deliver. It is next to impossible to be a great hitter, by and large, without a tremendous eye at the plate. And Ezekiel certainly has that in spades. As Besgrove looks at the wristband. Such tight spin for Besgrove when he is at his best. There was some talk about him suffering an injury in Prince Albert, but seems to be fine this weekend. And wanted that pitch against Ezekiel in the worst way. He will work the ball to all 4 quadrants of the plate. I would suggest when he's at his best, just my observation, the rise, arguably his best pitch, and Bradley Ezekiel was all over it. Just missed it. Did the 8-time All-World player Ezekiel. Big-time swing, maybe as good a swing as he has delivered in any game here this weekend. Trying to get the Chiefs started. And Besgrove wins this confrontation as he has back-to-back strikeouts to open the game.
Number 2, Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez, the batter, the designated player once again for the Chiefs. Hitting .304 on the season. With 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in, 1 for 6 is the 35-year-old from Mexico. So far at this USA Softball National Championship. The men's major division. Besgrove looks like he has his best stuff early. he and Mullins work so well together as a battery combination. On the ground for the slick fielding Evans. A 1-2-3 inning for Jack Besgrove and the Gremlins. They lead it 1-0 in this winner's bracket final at Devon Park in Oklahoma City. Bear Creek Gremlins with a 1-0 lead as Marco Diaz was able to get himself out of a bases-loaded jam, but did give up the one run on a Cole Evans RBI single. Walks were a stumbling block for Diaz in the top of the first as he faces longtime Canadian national team member and third baseman tonight, Brian Avery from Richmond, BC. This'll test Villavazo, and it eludes him. Thought he was in pretty good position. Head to range towards the bag, and Avery will be credited, I would guess, with a base hit. I don't think there's a lot of doubt. Hard bounding ball and just underneath the glove. Catcher Nick Mullins, the batter, showed bunt and takes a strike.
Number 3, Nick Mullins.
Brian Avery, a solid World Cup for Canada at home plate. He was 6 for 14 and had a hit in every game the Canadians played. He's now 2 for 6 for the Gremlins at this national championship. Mullins with a big cut and fouled it back. Justin Schofield, who had 5 1/3 quality innings in the first meeting of these two teams, their only meeting other than this one, in a season-shortened schedule that is 2025 because of all the world events, the World Cup, which just came to a conclusion, and then in a few weeks, it will be the World Games in China. And a lot of these players playing in this game will be headed there. Bruno Matroni having a tough go, and that's the toughest position in the sport behind home plate. He took one off the catching hand in the last inning and now off the open right forearm as he tries to shake that loose. Nick Mullins, 39 years of age, 0 for 3 so far with a run batted in at these USA Nationals in OKC, and Mullins goes down looking at strike number 3. Diaz already with 4 strikeouts in the game. Matthew Waugh drawing in the back line of the batter's box, which has been removed quite some time ago. Matthew Waugh walked and scored the game's only run in the first. And Marco Diaz looking to find a groove in this all-important winners bracket game. And Matthew Waugh had a quality cut at that pitch. Matthew, a World Cup champion all the way back in 2015 with Canada, and has played in every World Cup ever since. He's had such success for a long time with the Gremlins. Been a mainstay of this team for many years. A 7-time All-World selection at the ISC World Tournament. Last year, he hit .529 in Surrey. And a Diaz changeup. That, in one word, and maybe the nicest word I could use, disappoints the 36-year-old. One out and one on for the Bear Creek Gremlins. Long time known as the New York Gremlins, but sponsorship changed. Scott Cornelius taking over the main sponsorship. He also is the main sponsor of the Bear Creek Express and JDT First Energy. That's a new team this year. And they're playing one another right now in a winner stay alive contest. Matthew Waugh drills one into center. And the Gremlins threatening again in inning number 2. A hard hit ball back up the middle, and Jeff Ellsworth is going to come out and chat with Marco Diaz, who certainly has not looked like the pitcher that we saw earlier today. He was splendid in the 2-1 win against JDT First Energy. Marco's just 23 years of age. So this Besgrove-Diaz confrontation could go on for about, 15 more years if both guys stay healthy and stay at a high level. Jerome Remeke, the batter. He struck out, or pardon me, he walked in the first. 2 hits for the Gremlins here in the second and 2 on. As the sun starting to go down here in Oklahoma City. Diaz finds an outside corner on Remeke. Jerome is 30 years of age. 4 for 15 for New Zealand at the recently completed World Cup. Two balls and a strike to Remeke, who's 2 for 10 here this weekend. He's doubled twice, drove in 2 runs. Both of his hits came in the 15-1 opening night win over OPVS. 3-1, a hitter's count. And Remicky took a good swing at it. Looked to be a drop ball from Diaz. And here's the 3-2 on the way. Strike three. Remicky thought it was ball four. Our home plate umpire had other ideas. And as I say quite often on these broadcasts, he has the only vote that matters. Two away for the center fielder, Beninoka. Beninoka looks at strike one. Down the line, a fair ball, and that will score Brian Avery with the second run of the night. An RBI base hit down the line off the bat of Beninoka, and the Gremlins jump in to a 2-0 advantage. Did an excellent job of getting around on the inside pitch, past a diving Blake Hunter over at third. And Eric Ochoa, who struck out looking his first time up. Change up is a strike. Diaz has already thrown 61 pitches in the game. So he has had to work very hard early. And wanted the strike in the higher part of the zone. So the Bear Creek Gremlins. And you know how disappointed they might have been and how excited Hill United was to beat them 7-1 in the title game of last year's ISC World Tournament. That is the creme de la creme of men's club team softball. The Gremlins, then the New York Gremlins, were the winners in 2023. And it's always good work in the circle when you can retire Eric Ochoa. 2-0. Bear Creek Gremlins as they add another in their half of the second inning and lead by a pair in this winner's bracket final at Devon Park in Oklahoma City.
I look up to three women, actually. Kat Osterman, Amy Dill Bradford, and Megan Denny White.
One person I looked up to is Jocelyn Olo.
It would be Jordy Bogg.
Someone I look up to in softball is Aaliyah Andrews. I really look up to Erin Koffel.
Lisa Fernandez.
A woman in sports I look up to is Sis Bates.
I think Odyssey Alexander is a big one because of her demeanor, just the way she carries herself on the mound.
Because of the way she plays her game.
When I was 6 years old and decided to start pitching, she's who I look up to and still look up to till this day.
I've been a fan of hers since I was really young. I just really like how she plays the game.
I know she probably had a lot of people that doubted her. There's a lot of people that have doubted me, and she pushed through and succeeded.
That's very determined to do amazing and what she does.
She's really paved the way for young girls in Hawaii to have that dream to be here, and that's really helped me and pushed me because she shows the value of like how the outfield is just as important as infield. It like inspires me to be in.
2-0 Bear Creek Gremlins over the Hill United Chiefs as this fabulous rivalry continues on this Saturday night in OKC, the home of the NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Bruno Matroni takes a strike from Jack Besgrove, who faced the minimum 3 batters to begin the game. Matroni looking to change that. Was able, I thought, to check his swing, and so did our first base umpire. Bruno will turn 40 on the 16th of December. He is a journalist back home in Argentina. Chatted a little bit with him about that very subject today at the hotel. Does a lot of different things in that capacity. I know one thing, he's been playing great softball for a long time. He's batting .353 on the year. He's 18 for 48 for the Chiefs. 3 doubles, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Had a solid tournament in Kitchener, the Hallman tournament, won by the Chiefs at the end of June. Had hits in 4 of the 6 games there. And in search of his first hit this weekend in Oklahoma City. First game against Pueblo, didn't have a chance. He was walked 3 different times. He was 0 for 3 in the 2-1 win for the Chiefs earlier today against JDT First Energy. Besgrove with that big step off to the side and then comes back to the middle. And I'm not sure, I wasn't able to watch as much of the World Cup as I had hoped, but I was calling another major international event last week. But I know there were some illegal pitches called as Matroni in the air, and a couple of steps for Panuelos to take care of it for out number 1. I'm not sure if Besgrove had a illegal pitch issue or not in Prince Albert. But I know this, he was not his regular self, including in their opening game against Marco Diaz and Team USA. Second baseman Lenny Villavazo, the 26-year-old from Mexico. 2 for 4 here in Oklahoma City this weekend. A hit in each game, 1 for 2 in the 2 that Hill United have played and won. And Besgrove with a marvelous changeup that Villavazo was well out in front of. That might be the first changeup that Besgrove has offered up so far in this game. And has quality location on that pitch. Besgrove won the Men's World Cup when he was 18. But could not deliver for Australia in a similar manner last week in Prince Albert. Trying to change that here at the USA Nationals. Villavazo off the glove of Avery. And Villavazo should have his 3rd hit of this competition and would be the first of the night and the first base runner for Hill United. We'll wait to see how they score it. goes off the glove of Avery, who had to make a very difficult play. And it is indeed scored a hit. Villavazo had not played in a game going all the way back to the Mitchell tournament when he jammed his hand on a head-first slide in a game against the Northeast Drillers. So he was out of action for quite some time, but is healthy and has looked healthy here this weekend. Blake Hunter, who had a fabulous World Cup for Canada, drove in more runs than anyone else in that tournament with 11 when it was all said and done. Blake's 0 for 3 so far in Oklahoma City. He was 8 for 14, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and 11 runs batted in for Canada at the World Cup. The 38-year-old from Nanaimo, British Columbia. And gets caught looking at the Besgrove low rise on the outside corner. Some good framing by catcher Nick Mullins, who might do it as well as anybody in the sport. On the ground, Evans shovels to Mallerzuk to end the inning. So a hit for the Chiefs. They leave a runner, and it's 2-0. Bear Creek Gremlins after 2 in this all-important winners bracket final at the USA Softball National Championships. Major Men's on the best place to catch softball anywhere. Softball Premier TV. Cole Evans has one of the 4 Bear Creek Gremlins hits, and it drove in the game's first run. In the top of the first, they would add another, courtesy of another player from New Zealand, Bananoka, in the second. As Marco Diaz has given up 4 hits, and Evans tried to hit that back to Auckland. He had a mighty cut at it. He was 6 for 20, by the way, at the World Cup, where New Zealand won the silver medal, losing to Venezuela in the gold medal final. He homered twice and drove in 5. He's driven in 6 so far this weekend in Oklahoma City. 5 for 10. 2 doubles and 6 runs batted in for the 26-year-old shortstop. The drop ball that was fouled back. He's a 2-time All-World player as Cole Evans at the ISC World Tournament. And will be a huge factor the rest of the weekend and in Mankato, Minnesota. That is the site of this year's ISC World Tournament that starts a week from today in Mankato. About an hour and a half outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Marco Diaz trying to find his best stuff. And this gets away from Diaz and hits Cole Evans. And marks the third consecutive inning that the Bear Creek Gremlins have had the leadoff batter aboard. As Diaz gets set to face Abelardo Penuelas, the right fielder. He walked in inning number 1. So far for both pitchers, I would suggest the plate has been friendly. Slash by Penuelas that had Greg Leather, the head coach, somewhat concerned, even though it missed him by a decent margin, but that gets you in a hurry when you're about 53 feet away. Diaz ahead in the count. Back up the middle off the bat of Penuelas. Hit number 5 of the game for the Gremlins. And that one comes on an 0-2 count, and that might do it for Diaz. We'll see.
Number 24, Ladislao Malarchuk.
Jeff Ellsworth had a pace to his walk. There was some urgency on his way out, but no change yet. There's the home plate umpire, just making Jeff well known about number of visits. Justin Schofield looks like he has completed warm-up pitches. As the Gremlins would like to open this one up. And know that they would have 2 chances to win this USA Softball Men's Major National Championship for a 5th consecutive year. They've won it 9 times in recent history. Two on and no one out in a 2-0 Gremlins lead in the 3rd. Look out. There's Ladislav Malerzuk behind on that swing. Can Marco Diaz find it? You know he's more than capable. The Malerzuk bunt attempt fouled away. Cole Evans and Shane Boland in a conversation. Shane's about as kind a human as anyone that you would ever meet. Might be in a tie between Shane Boland, Luciano Lafrano, and Joe Todd as the 3 nicest men in the sport. Might be a tie. That's a good group to be in, at least from my vantage point. Mallerzuk works it full. And Marco Diaz about to throw his 80th pitch of the game. He could use a strikeout here. And Diaz has gotten that pitch the majority of the night, but he doesn't get it here. It is called ball 4. And now it is going to be the end of the line for Marco Diaz, who will most certainly figure prominently tomorrow. Whether the Chiefs are in a driver's seat type position or whether they are in a similar spot to the one that they were in on the final day of the ISC World Tournament in 2024 when they came into the final day having to win 3 straight games. Justin Schofield enters. The Canadian national team member, the 35-year-old from Nova Scotia. As Marco Diaz gives up 2 runs on 5 hits, struck out 6, and one of the setbacks was the 4 walks. Schofield on the season for the Chiefs, as he's returned to the Chiefs after a few years with the Bear Creek Express in 2025. Justin is 5-1. He's pitched 36 innings, given up 13 runs on 24 hits, struck out 67 batters, and walked 8. Had a strong first 5 innings in the Chiefs' opening game here against the Pueblo Bandits before he gave up back-to-back home runs in the 6th and then gave way to Tyler Randerson. Randerson, who's a pickup from the Toronto Batmen for this tournament. And then Diaz, who saved it. Bases loaded, no one out. In the 3rd, this is not an easy way to enter a game. One of Schofield's best outings, I feel, this year for Hill United was the 5 1/3 he gave them, albeit a 3-1 loss in the only other encounter between these two rivals in 2025. Schofield made one mistake in that game, gave up a 2-run homer to Cole Evans in the 4th. Other than that, he was superb and needs something good to happen right here and right now as he deals with Brian Avery. And the chatter level in the Gremlins dugout has gone up about tenfold. In the air, but it's going to make its way into the seats. All 12,500 of them here at Devon Park. Schofield has been very good this season for the Chiefs with runners in scoring position. His earned run average in that scenario is less than 1. Avery, a mile high. And there's the first out. As Bruno Matroni handles it effectively. to retire Brian Avery. And a pinch hitter comes into the game in Argentine Lucio Retamar. Argentina just continues to produce so many great players, and I would have to think they, like Canada, like Australia, very disappointed to not make it into the super round in Prince Albert, but please don't get me going on the format. Might be one that could require some investigation. So Retamar hitting in place of the catcher Nick Mullins here with the bases loaded and one out in the top of the third. Retamar just 25 years of age. He's 2 for 6 so far this weekend in Oklahoma City. He's homered and driven in 4. His home run came in a 6-0 victory over the Kegel Black Knights in their second game. Schofield misses outside. Retamar 3 for 11 for Argentina at the World Cup. In his second consecutive year with the Gremlins. Thought they might check the swing. They do not. Retamar 0 for 3 back on June 14th against Hill United. Has a chance to blow it open a little bit here in the third. As I believe we are now officially down to only 4 teams in the hunt for the USA Softball National Championship. There is a lot of noise coming from the respective dugouts. 3-1. Schofield will have to come from behind against Lucio Retamar. He hit .400 at last year's ISC World Tournament in Surrey, British Columbia. And it's ball 4, which will walk home the third Gremlins run. And will be a run batted in for Retamar, his 5th of this men's major national championship. Matthew Waugh walked and scored and has a base hit. And just prevented himself from pulling the trigger. The Hill United Chiefs, number 1 ranked against number 2 in the ISC World Rankings, need a spark. Could use like an inning-ending double play here. Schofield with a rise ball on the outer half. We're only in the top of the third, and this game has already lasted more than an hour. Off the foot of Waugh. And Matthew will look to shake it out, if possible. Matthew, a 7-time all-world performer at the ISC World Tournament. And looks like he's going to be fine to continue. Justin Schofield in his first inning of relief in place of the starter, Marco Diaz, who officially went 2. Gave up 3 runs, 5 hits, struck out 6, walked 4. Schofield with a big strikeout. Matthew Waugh was most certainly looking for something else other than what was delivered to him. So first strikeout of the game and his 68th of the season for the Hill United Chiefs. Can he find a way to get Remeke here? Jerome Remeke.
Number 6, Jerome Romicky.
And Schofield gives you everything he's got, every pitch. Really retuned his whole pitching game with the incredible work he put in during COVID. And that looked upwards of 75. The rise ball never is quite miles per hour registering, you might say, as balls down in the zone. But that seemed to have a little extra on it. Ball and a strike to first baseman Jerome Remeke. 1 in and the base is loaded. Strike 2 as he works in this time. Well, the at-bats don't get much bigger than this one. With Besgrove throwing and throwing well, Hill United can ill afford this deficit from growing much larger. This will find the seats. It is a pretty good time to mention Hill United has not had a lot of luck in the absence department. One of their stars, Quentin Bruce, who is absolutely having a fabulous World Cup for Canada in the last few weeks leading up to the World Cup as a member of the Hill United Chiefs, hitting the ball as almost well as anyone at the time, and then got hurt in the 3rd round robin game, which unfortunately for Canada, even before they stepped on the field, they knew in their 3rd round robin game they had no chance of advancing because of math at the World Cup. And Bruce got hurt in that game, and his season is over. Nick Shales, such a key performer, and has been a 10-time all-world player at the ISC. He is unavailable this weekend. So it's a very, very deep team, but it just isn't as deep without those 2 guys in your hitting lineup. Affects you defensively, too, on both fronts. Schofield outside to Remeke. Did give up a bases-loaded walk to make it 3-0. Has retired 2 of the first 3 batters that he has faced and wants a new softball. And has one. Gremlins have put up a run in each of their 3 at-bats so far, trying to expand the advantage. And the count is full. Justin Schofield needs a good pitch here. Comes up with one. Good work by Schofield. Despite giving up the bases loaded walk to score the 3rd run, it could have been much worse. But Besgrove and the Bear Creek Gremlins in front 3-0. The lights on now in this winner's bracket final at Devon Park. All Gremlins so far in this one, a long way to go, especially with the type of hitting lineup that the Hill United Chiefs possess. They have just the 1 hit so far against Jack Besgrove. And 21-year-old youngster Nick White leads things off, playing a lot more, especially now with the absence of Quentin Bruce. And Besgrove induces White for a swinging strike. Nick, absolutely one of the fastest players in the game, and when he puts the ball in play, almost always gives him a chance. On the other diamond, it is the Northeast Drillers leading the Bear Creek Express 1-0 early in that game, as we're down to 4 teams in the hunt for this USA Softball Men's Major National Championship. The winner of that game will face the loser of this game in the first affair tomorrow morning at 8. Besgrove missed up that time. The big lean back. All I'd have to do after the last number of years of watching this young man is just see how the delivery starts. The swing with the glove to one side, the big lean. Nick White, even for Cole Evans, this is tough, and that is superb. Great defense by Cole Evans. Just take a look at how quickly Evans releases the ball and knows he had to, and got Nick White by a step for out number 1. And now the batter is Pipolo Lopez. Out in front of a changeup. Edgar Pipolo Lopez from Mexico, 31 years of age, hitting .400 on the season. He's 18 for 45. Can understand at times for Besgrove. Watch his foot on the rubber and how little of it is left on the rubber when the pitch begins. As he strikes out, Pipolo Lopez, his third strikeout of the evening. Shane Boland with that huge home run to propel Hill United into this winner's bracket final earlier today against JDT First Energy. Takes a strike from Besgrove. Shane's now 4 for 8 here in Oklahoma City. As Besgrove just misses outside. Throws what I would call a very heavy ball because of the great spin. It packs a real wallop at the end. Doesn't throw as hard as Marco Diaz. But the spin and the late movement from Besgrove is what makes him one of the world's best. He has looked a lot more human in 2025. Boland able to check his swing that time. Besgrove has only thrown 41 pitches, 29 of them so far for strikes. He's faced one over the minimum in this his third inning of work. Boland trying to change that story with 2 out in the third. Evans gets it on an easy hop. Three up, 3 down. Go the Chiefs in the bottom of the third, and 3's the number they don't like. They trail it by 3 after 3. On Softball Premier TV. The Bear Creek Gremlins have scored a run in each of their first 3 at-bats and lead 3-0. Center fielder Ben Anoka drove home their second run in inning number 2. He is 1 for 2 in the game with a run batted in. An impressive 444 for the Gremlins at last year's ISC World Tournament, where they lost 7-1 in the championship final to the team they're playing, the Hill United Chiefs. And again, a thank you to Pete Hill and the Hill United ownership for making Hill United Chiefs games available all year long on Softball Premier TV. It's been an absolute pleasure to be behind the microphone for the majority of them. Blair Setford and Joe Todd have been behind the mic as well. Schofield taking over in the last inning from Marco Diaz. Did walk in a batter, but was able to work his way out of further trouble. As the Gremlins left the bases loaded in the top of the third. And the Chiefs would love nothing more than a 1-2-3 defensive inning of their own. And for a 4th straight inning, the leadoff batter is aboard for the Bear Creek Gremlins. Schofield just missed his spot against Anoka. Eric Ochoa 0 for 2 in the game. Struck out twice facing the starter, Marco Diaz. Hit it hard. Lopez fights it. And it's been that kind of evening so far for the Chiefs. That did have an opportunity to be a double play if Pipolo can handle it cleanly. And sometimes you want to transfer it so quickly that attempting to take the ball out of your glove to throw it, it can be juggled. So they do retire Ochoa. Anoka able to move up on the grounder to second base. And Cole Evans again, 1 for 1 with an RBI single, and was hit by Marco Diaz to open inning number 3. Schofield misses away and falls behind Evans. 2 balls and no strikes. To the winner, a berth in tomorrow's championship final. And still double life to win the USA Softball Men's Major National Championship. It's a double knockout competition. But even if the Chiefs are unable to come back, and there's a long way to go, they are still alive in their quest for this crown. Just the road would become very, very difficult. But still have 4 at-bats remaining to try and cut into the deficit. But the walks continue to add up. Second walk of the inning for Justin Schofield. The 6th batter for the Gremlins who's walked in the game. Schofield having a chat with the veteran catcher Bruno Matroni. Abelardo Penuelas steps in.
Number 19, Abelardo Penuelas.
He's walked and singled in the game. 2 for 5 here in Oklahoma City this weekend. And it is difficult to pitch when the other team is constantly pressing you. Abelardo into left for a base hit. They're going to send the runner. And Anoka scores easily as Abelardo Penuelas has his second hit of the evening and his first run batted in of the night. His second of this tournament. And it's 4-0.
Number 24, Ladislao Malarchuk.
The Gremlins' 6th hit of the evening. And there's number 7, Cole Evans, will get the stop sign, and it's a good thing. Now they've got a runner caught. The throw just in time to get Evans at home. And that's the first mistake of the game, period, for the Bear Creek Gremlins. Alan Pecker came home with it in a hurry. And Evans was forced to try his luck going home. As Penuelas got caught after the base hit by Ladislav Malerzuk. So 2 out. And Brian Avery, the batter.
Number 33, Brian Aubrey.
Avery facing his national team teammate in Schofield. And they've faced one another a lot over the years, whether Schofield has been with the Bear Creek Express or Hill United. Avery, a longtime New York Gremlin, now Bear Creek Gremlin. I think that's the first time all year I've gone down that road. It had to happen at one point. So runners at second and third for Avery, who has singled and scored himself in the game. And almost hits him. Three balls and no strikes to Avery, the longtime Canadian national team member. And that completely got away from Schofield. Bases loaded one more time. It has been a tough night for Marco Diaz and Justin Schofield in the control department. Nick Mullins, who was pinch hit for by Lucio Retamar, is the batter. And there's a well-pitched strike by Schofield. And it is very unlike him to have 4 walks in a game. He had only, I believe, 7 or 8 coming in his 36 innings of work prior to entering this contest. But it has been that kind of night. And it's 4-0 for the Gremlins. Can be very difficult in so many ways. There's always extra emotion. There just is when these two teams meet. It's different than any other meeting of teams, in my estimation, being around the last couple of years. There's a strike. This is a great rivalry. Two and two to Nick Mullins. And Schofield with a great pitch. After all of that, just one more. But the one more makes it 4-0 for the Bear Creek Gremlins, with the Hill United Chiefs coming to bat and needing a spark in this one. They trail it by 4. Nothing for the Bear Creek Gremlins as Bradley Ezekiel set to lead things off for the Hill United Chiefs. Just received a note, and longtime pitcher in the United States and at this level. Very sad to hear that Billy Hillhouse has been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Bill actually reached out to me earlier this season with a wonderful note. Somebody who I know has worked on a number of broadcasts after his playing days were over. And unbelievably saddened to read this. And just know, Billy, that we're sending all our prayers and our thoughts and best wishes as you're in the biggest battle of your life. And the softball community loves you and is all behind you. Even in a game where a lot is on the line and rivalry exists in a massive way between teams, there are things far more important. So sobering news on this Saturday. As Ezekiel asked for time. Ezekiel struck out versus Besgrove in his first go-round. And Besgrove has been at his best in this showdown. Given up just the one hit by Lenny Viavazzo in the second inning. It went off the glove of Brian Avery at third and scooted past Cole Evans into the outfield. As Ezekiel tries to punch that one into right field. Ezekiel did not start in the game when these two teams met for the first time, June the 14th. Came off the bench as a pinch hitter and did deliver a hit. This is as quality a confrontation as you could almost have, with Besgrove facing Ezekiel, and Bradley has had an amazing year, but it's been a tough weekend so far, as he has yet to deliver a hit in Oklahoma City. This is in the air, playable. Mallerzuk raced back, and then Panuelos called him off as Ezekiel flies out in the fourth. And Tony Gonzalez. He grounded out to Cole Evans at short to end the first. Chiefs with just the one hit and just the one base runner. As Besgrove is dealing. It's almost an absolute reverse in fortune of the last time Besgrove met up with Marco Diaz. That meeting happened on July 8th, opening day of the World Cup, with Diaz throwing for the United States and Besgrove pitching for Australia. In that game, it was all Marco. A complete game, 7-inning shutout, a one-hitter with 10 strikeouts, while Besgrove gave up 4 runs on 7 hits to the United States in that game. It's been the opposite so far tonight, as Diaz left after 2. And Besgrove pulls the string to get Tony Gonzalez with a masterful changeup. His 4th strikeout of the evening.
Number 28, Bruno Matroni.
And you could hear the pop in the glove all the way up here. As my friend Luciano likes to joke with me a lot, boom. That made a boom. Bruno wouldn't mind a little boom right about now himself. As the Chiefs, they can get hot in a hurry. They have a very good hitting lineup and are more than capable of changing a game in an inning. Matroni flares it to left. Again, it's Panuelos. Almost overran it, but didn't. 1-2-3 go the Chiefs in the fourth. The Gremlins continue to lead by 4 in this winner's bracket final at the USA Softball Major Men's National Championship on Softball Premier TV. Pitching change as Martin Gonzalez comes in, as he will make his first appearance of this national championship here in Oklahoma City. As he has joined the Hill United Chiefs staff this year and takes over from Justin Schofield, who replaced the starter Marco Diaz. And not like the Gremlins have a lot of hard-hit balls in the game. The difference really has been in control. Walks have been the story in many ways of the game. And both Marco Diaz and Justin Schofield, very uncharacteristic in that neighborhood for both of them. So Gonzalez set to face the Gremlins, who have scored 1 run in all 4 innings they've batted. Martin is 31 years old. He's from Paraná in Argentina. Played for the Northeast Drillers last season. The Drillers involved in a quality confrontation on the other diamond. Last check, they were leading the Bear Creek Express 1-0. They will face the loser of this game tomorrow morning at 8, while the winner of this game directly into a championship final affair. But it's not a straight up championship final. It's a double knockout. So the Gremlins would go to bed tonight knowing they have 2 chances to win this title for a 5th straight time, if they can hang on. And Martin Gonzalez shakes up Matthew Waugh with his first pitch. Martin is 6-1 on the year, 30 2/3 innings, struck out 43, and walked 10. But he's given up 19 runs and 34 hits. Facing Matthew Waugh, who's 1 for 2 in the game with a run scored. And he has walked. Scored the game's first run. And yes, indeed, it remains 1-0 for the Northeast Drillers. That game in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Gonzalez seems to have a bit of an issue with the grip. But no trouble there. And that will help Martine's confidence as he sits down Matthew Waugh. And there could be nothing better for the Hill United Chiefs in many ways when you think about the 32-team ISC World Tournament that starts in a week in Mankato, Minnesota. Again, Softball Premier TV. Bring you all the action. Blair Setford, Joe Todd, and myself on the call. If Gonzalez can find his A game. You can never have enough good pitching options, especially in a 32-team tournament. The Chiefs will not play on opening day of that event. They will have a bye on opening day and play Sunday against the Junkyard Dogs. That'll be their first opponent of that event. They're far more concerned about keeping their hopes alive in this game and this event right now. Jerome Remicke, the batter. Lenny Villavazzo comes up with it. And 2 up, 2 down. Nice beginning for Martin Gonzalez.
Number 89, Ben Inoka.
Not only had Bear Creek, the Gremlins, scored in every inning, the first batter in every inning reached base. It's been a good result so far for Martin, who takes a look at that pitching hand after that one sailed high and away on him. Been such a mixed bag tonight between Gonzalez, Diaz, and Schofield. Hill United pitchers have 9 strikeouts. But it's the 8 freebies that in so many ways have paved the way for the Gremlins. And Besgrove has been at his best in his first 4 innings of work. And Gonzalez falls behind Ben Inoka, who is 1 for 2 with a run batted in, has walked and scored, rips it, a diving try by Nick White, but couldn't quite collect it. Very nice effort in left by the 21-year-old outfielder, but could not quite get to it. Looked like the glove on it, but as he rolled, it did not remain in the glove. Never really fully was trapped in there. So a second hit on the night for Inoka. With 2 out, and now Eric Ochoa, who is 0 for 3 in the game. White backpedals more and more, and finally camps under it. So the first 0 on the board for the Chiefs defensively, and it was Martin Gonzalez at the helm. Now, the Chiefs require base runners and some hits. We'll see if they can provide it in the bottom of the fifth, trailing by 4. Lenny Viavazzo, who has the lone Hill United hit in the game off Jack Besgrove to start for the 6-time ISC World Champion Hill United Chiefs in the bottom of the fifth, trailing by 4 in this winner's bracket final. It remains 1-0 Northeast Drillers in the fifth now over the Bear Creek Express. As 14 teams started the quest for this USA softball national title, and only 4 remain. It will be 3 when we begin tomorrow's play at 8 a.m. right here on this great diamond. Two balls from Besgrove. He has thrown 58 pitches in the game, 40 of them for strikes, has 5 strikeouts, has yet to walk a batter. And for a rare time on this evening, falls behind 3-0. When you trail by this kind of deficit, what you are really in need of is base runners. Thanks, Tips. Viavazzo readjusting the batting gloves. And misses on the high rise from Besgrove. There is some activity in the bullpen for the Gremlins. Quality hack by Lenny Viavazzo. Anytime you see the ball fouled straight back, you know it's been a good swing. Viavazzo has come off his injury, obtained on June the 14th, returned this weekend, is swinging it well. Change up is ball 4. And for the first time in the game, the Chiefs have a leadoff batter aboard for Blake Hunter. And he could get the Chiefs back in it with one swing. You know that homered twice for the Chiefs. Also homered twice for Canada at the World Cup. And misses on the Besgrove first pitch. Who came up and in at 38-year-old Blake Hunter from Nanaimo, British Columbia. Came into the game hitting .385. And Blake was a Gremlin a year ago. But joined the Chiefs this season. So a little extra for him you can bet too. And Blake, who has not done any catching, I don't think, unless he caught a game in Kitchener, and I don't believe he did. It was the one weekend where I was away. But he certainly would have caught Jack Besgrove. On the ground, there's one, and there's two. Almost symbolic of the whole night. It is just all going the Gremlins' way on this Saturday here in Oklahoma City. Ground ball at Mallerzuk. Viavazo tried to stop to give Blake Hunter a little more time, but instead grounds into a 4 unassisted to 3 double play.
Number 59,
Alan Pecker is the batter. Oh for 1 in the game is number 59. Besgrove's command outside of the one walk has been excellent. Giving up just the one hit. And not sure if he and Nick Mullins were crossed up that time, but it appeared to be the case. The Gremlins have just chipped away. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 more in the fourth against the Hill United Chiefs in just their second meeting of the season. And don't be surprised if there's another 1 or 2 before the weekend is over. And more big ones potentially to come at the ISC World Tournament in Mankato, Minnesota. That tournament starts next Saturday, a week from today. Down and hard, but out of the zone to Alan Pecker. Allen has 4 multi-hits on the year. He's driven in 11. Has a couple of triples, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Just take a base hit to keep the inning alive here in the bottom of 5. And will not be the case. Besgrove almost fell, but it didn't seem to matter on the drop ball underneath the hands of Alan Pecker. Another strikeout for Besgrove. And it's 4-0. Gremlins continue to lead by that count after 5 on this Saturday night in Oklahoma City. 1-0. The Gremlins in the winner's bracket final. On the bottom half of the bracket, in a winner stay alive game, the Bear Creek Express have now drawn even with the Northeast Drillers. That game is tied at 1 apiece in the 5th as the Express tied it in the top half of the inning. Martin Gonzalez in his second inning of relief for Hill United. Gave up 1 hit in the 5th, but was able to put up a 0. Evans, well out of play. Cole has a hit, a run batted in. That came back in the 1st. Was hit by a pitch and then walked. So 1 for 1 with a run batted in officially for the Gremlins star shortstop. He's made a couple of good plays. Probably his best was to take a hit away from Nick White earlier in the game. Hunter to get Evans. One of the key performers offensively for the Bear Creek Gremlins has been Abelardo Panuelos. He has 2 hits, he's walked, and he's driven in 1 of the 4 runs. The Gremlins right fielder and ducks out of the way of the high rise from Martin Gonzalez. Martin was not a member of the 16-man Argentina roster at the World Cup. Matias Echeverres, I would guess, beat him out for that final pitching spot. And Panuelos had a good cut. As Gonzalez finds himself ahead in the count. A building block potentially for Martin Gonzalez. And it's been an interesting start for him to this relief appearance. There doesn't seem to be a lot of in between. There's been some errant pitches and then some dynamite pitches. Panuelos. Can tell when a hitter's pretty locked in. And Panuelos seems to be just that on this Saturday night. As the Gremlins moving a little closer to having the opportunity to find themselves with 2 opportunities to win a 5th consecutive USA Softball Major Men's National Championship. Panuelos ducks out of the way, and Coach Greg Leather looks a little irritated at third as he's pacing around. I don't think there's any intent here. So Martin Gonzalez misses way in and then comes back with a quality rise ball away that gets Panuelos swinging and retires him for the first time in the game. And a second strikeout for Martin Gonzalez, who deals with a fellow Argentine player in Ladislau Malerzuk, who is 1 for 2. He has walked, singled and struck out. Viavazo. A 1-2-3 inning for Gonzalez. Now, can Hill United find their way against Jack Besgrove? They're running out of time. Here in the winner's bracket final at Devon Park in Oklahoma City. Jack Besgrove giving up just the one hit. He has 6 strikeouts. One of the harder hit balls off of Besgrove. Off the bat of Nick White, but Cole Evans at shortstop. Ranging made an excellent play to get him. As White showed bunt. Lenny Viavazo walked to start the 5th, and then unfortunately for the Chiefs, Blake Hunter hit into a 4 unassisted to 3 double play. For the first time in the game, the Chiefs had a leadoff batter on base. (8-1) the hit count in favor of the Gremlins. The bunt, Abry throws it away. And Nick White scampers to second. And there is the fabulous set of wheels that belong to Nick White. And I think this has the potential of being scored a hit and an error. I only see the error up on the board and no hit. I think it could have been scored both. Even if the throw here by Abry is on target, maybe it would have been an out. Maybe. But it took Malerzuk a while to get there on the cover over at first, and he certainly was not in a position to take the throw, but looks like it's just an error. The Chiefs will take it. White on base. To start the bottom of the 6th, and now Pipolo Lopez would love a base knock of his own. Lopez struck out as somebody must have made a great catch in the stands. The the reason for the big clap. When I come to an event like this, in such an amazing location, you always wish that just a few more people would be in the stands to watch these great players. And Besgrove has strikeout number 7.
Number 91, Shane Boland.
Remember, for players who did not participate at the Men's World Cup, it's been a break. For example, the Chiefs' last game prior to the start of this tournament was June 29th. Shane Boland pops it in the air. Panuelos able to get to it, and then he rifles it in, and Evans cuts it off to keep Nick White, who wasn't going anywhere. You're down by 4. That run means very little at this point.
Number 11,
And the Gremlins did not even participate in the Kitchener-Hallman tournament at the end of June. So for a couple players, mind you, so many of them were at the World Cup, they haven't really played since the 3rd week in June. They were part of a Bear Creek tournament, which they won. At a new ballpark that has been opened and constructed by the owner of the Bear Creek Express, Gremlins, and JDT, First Energy, Scott Cornelius. Nice block by Nick Mullins. So Boland flies out to right. Brad Ezekiel 0 for 2 in the game. Would love nothing more than his first hit of the event and to drive in a run. Batted .500 for Canada last week at the Men's World Cup. And started this weekend, as far as the Chiefs are concerned, in the mid-400s for batting average. 9 home runs, 22 runs batted in. He is having a great year. So what's new for number 11? He thought he had walked on the last pitch. He has now walked on this one. When Nick White made his way to second base, he's the first runner for the Chiefs in the game to find himself in scoring position, and games can change quickly. 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th for Tony Gonzalez, who's more than capable of delivering a big fly. And a big cut, but a miss by the 35-year-old, who was just fabulous at the Kitchener-Hallman tournament. Won by the Chiefs and included 3 different national teams getting ready for the World Cup. Gonzalez has homered 3 times this season. He was 8 for 13 at that tournament at the end of June. fouls that, and he's upset at himself. He thought he had a pitch he could handle. Tony is batting .312 on the year with runners in scoring position. Even a ball into the gap would make this an interesting finish. And Gonzalez hangs in there. It's the most difficult spot that Besgrove has found himself in all night. All night. He's ahead in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Looks at the wristband and set to deliver. The changeup misses. Here comes the 2-2 to number 2 of the Chiefs. And again, continues a good at-bat. Tony probably with the best command of the English language of all the Spanish-speaking Hill United Chiefs, and there are many of them. And what a treat he is to be around. He's a really infectious person. Goes down swinging. Jack Besgrove brought his A game to Devon Park tonight. And the Gremlins find themselves 3 outs away from having 2 cracks at a 5th consecutive USA softball national title tomorrow. You're watching on Softball Premier TV. Seventh inning. The Northeast Drillers have gone in front of the Bear Creek Express in the other winner stay alive game. It's now 2-1 on Diamond 4, with the Drillers batting in the bottom of the 6th as they scored in the 5th. And Brian Avery opens up the 7th with a base hit past Lenny Villavazzo. Coming into this USA Softball Men's Major National Championship, I believe the number 1, 2, and 3 ranked teams were Hill United, the Bear Creek Gremlins, and the Northeast Drillers. And they just might be the 3 teams left in the hunt when tomorrow's playoff action continues. And the Drillers have just added another. It's 3-1. Steal attempt by the pinch runner. And that is Tani Mumu. Didn't even see the announcement. Didn't need to. When he runs like that, it's generally one of 2 guys in the sport. Nick White for the Chiefs or Tani Mumu of the Gremlins. I'd love to see a 100-meter dash or maybe just a 60 between those 2. So Abry, the hit he's run for, and a stolen base by Mumu. Martin Gonzalez, so far the 3rd pitcher to work in the game for Hill United, has acquitted himself nicely to this point. And there's a catching change for the Chiefs as the youngster, Luciano Biondi, I believe that's him now, behind home plate. We don't get the changes relayed up to us. Another high fouled out of play off the bat of Mullins. Ripped by Mullins into left. Here comes Mumu, and he'll score the 5th run. Nick Mullins with a run batted in, a single to left. As Mumu enters the game, steals second, and then no chance to get him whatsoever. And it's 5-0 for the Bear Creek Gremlins, formerly the New York Gremlins. No play for Nick White. And another pinch runner comes into the game.
Number 16, Matthew Roy.
The batter is Matthew Waugh and fouls it away. Some late adds as far as the box score is concerned. Five nothing now in favor of the Gremlins, closing in and having 2 opportunities to retain their USA National Men's Major Fast Pitch Softball title. That's Cody Gibbons, who is the base runner, and another hit. This one off the bat. The throw by Ellen Pecker is offline. And Martin Gonzalez, who had 2 pretty solid innings in relief, has given up 3 consecutive hits to start the 7th. And still no one out with runners at second and third.
Number 6, Jerome Ramaki.
There's Avery Mullins and now Matthew Waugh, who has his second hit of the night, has upped the Gremlins hit total to 11. And Remeke was trying to hit that way out of here, but missed. Chiefs bring the infield in. If nothing else, you want to just have more potential reps for probably a more important situation, whether it's tomorrow or when the ISC World Tournament begins in earnest a week from tonight. Overall, it won't start until Sunday evening for the Hill United Chiefs. Blair Setford, Joe Todd, Rich Haldane, and others do such a good job scheduling that event. And Gonzalez strikes out Jerome Remeke, who's 0 for 4 in the game. For Martin, his third strikeout. And there's one away with a run in the 7th. Beninoka's had a quality night, 2 for 3. He's driven in a run, scored a run. It has not been reminiscent of the first meeting between these two teams. I thought that was just a fabulous game in Mitchell, Ontario. Won by the Gremlins 3-1. Cole Evans with an all-important 2-run homer in the 4th was the difference in that game. And it was everything by and large you would expect when these two arch rivals play. The meeting before that was the 7-1 victory in the championship final of the ISC World Tournament in favor of the Hill United Chiefs, who look like they're going to find themselves at this tournament in a similar position where they would have to win 3 consecutive games to win this crown. The difference being here they would have to beat the Gremlins twice in a row. They didn't have to do that on the final Saturday in Surrey. As Anoka pops this just foul. Love the setup here with the screen. So the ball just comes right back. They don't all come right back. I see 4, and you can probably see it on the bottom of your screen, stuck at the top of it. Be danger pay for who would ever have to try and gather those. So Gonzalez trying to win the battle and get his team to the bottom of the 7th. And it gets away. And run number 6 comes home in Cody Gibbons. And that is most certainly Luciano Biondi behind home plate, even though on the box score I've been looking at online, he has not yet officially been placed into it there. But that doesn't mean that he's not officially in where it matters most. Up the middle. And Beninoka has his third hit of the game and second run batted in. And it's 7-0. All Gremlins on this Saturday in Oklahoma City.
Number 8, Eric Ochoa.
Ochoa hit it hard, but Nick White uses his great speed in the outfield to track it. He got a great break on this ball. Scalded off the bat of Eric Ochoa, who was red hot coming into the game in this tournament and is 0 for 5 on the night. But he hit that very well. So runs in all 4 innings, a 1 in every one of them, and a couple of scoreless innings, and now the Gremlins have added 3 more here in the top of the 7th. And barring a miraculous comeback, they'll have 2 chances to win the USA Softball National Championship. Used to be known for many a year as the ASAs. Not anymore. It's the USA Softball Men's Major National Championship. Change up from Gonzalez to Cole Evans, who at this point has the game-winning run batted in. It happened when he drove in a run off of the starter, Marco Diaz, back in the top of the first. And this gonna hit the window right in front of me, literally. Cole, I must say, I've never said anything bad about you. In fact, have always pretty much sung your outstanding softball praises. That one came back here. Thank goodness for window protection. And good windows. Gonzalez struck out Cole Evans. 7-0. Gremlins over the Hill United Chiefs on this Saturday on Softball Premier TV. The Gremlins in complete command, leading 7-0. Thought maybe they'd give the ball to another pitcher, but nope. Jack Besgrove looks to complete what's been a great game. Luciano Biondi, the at-bat, came in to catch, I believe in the last inning, for the starter, Bruno Matroni, who Matroni was an first-team All-Star at the USA Softball Nationals last year in Michigan. Biondi with a very bright future. Great that his family has made their way here to Oklahoma and will continue to follow Luciano. They'll make their way to the ISC World Tournament in Mankato. And Luciano hit it hard, but right at Ladislau Malerzuk for out number one. One of the harder hit balls for the Chiefs in the game. But right at Malerzuk. And it is a final from the other diamond. The Bear Creek Express have been eliminated. And looks like a date will be set up for tomorrow morning at 8 between the Drillers and the Hill United Chiefs. And then for the right to tussle with the Bear Creek Gremlins, who will have 2 cracks at winning this national championship in the men's major division of USA Softball. We'll have it all for you tomorrow. Viavazzo has the one and only hit. That came back in the second inning. Thought Nick White could have been given credit for a bunt base hit his last time up. Was not scored that way. And after looking at it a couple of times, I can get why it wasn't, as well as I would have understood if it had been called that way. So Jack Besgrove has brought his best to the table on this Saturday night in what was a showdown of the number 1 and 2 ranked teams in the ISC World Rankings. They'll both be favored to potentially play for the title again at this year's version, starting next Saturday in Mankato, Minnesota, which is the crown jewel of men's club softball. And the lights have gone out at Devon Park. That happened suddenly. And the lights are still on at the other diamond, where the Northeast Drillers just downed the Bear Creek Express by a score of 3-1 as they keep their USA National Championship hopes alive. And back come the lights. That didn't take very long. Thank goodness. This game is nearing the 3-hour mark. I think it started in the neighborhood of 7:15 Oklahoma time. Maybe a tad later than that, but not much. So 1 out as we resume with Lenny Viavazzo in search of his second hit of the evening. Won't occur. Jack Besgrove's 9th strikeout of the evening. And really tonight appeared that he was dialed in very early. Change up. He's done a nice job mixing in more of those. It's Blake Hunter would love to even maybe set the table a little bit, something to think about for a potential meeting of these two teams tomorrow, but Hill United will have a great test at 8 a.m. when they face the Northeast Drillers. That'll be a good one. Besgrove at his best. The 21-year-old who won't turn 22 until, I believe, the 17th of December. And he ends it in convincing fashion with his 10th strikeout. And here's just another look at how it concludes. A one-hit, 7-inning complete game shutout for Jack Besgrove. 10 strikeouts. So a tough one for the Hill United Chiefs. Their first loss here in Oklahoma City. Be a quick turnaround. They'll be back at the park tomorrow about 7 a.m. to get ready to face the Northeast Drillers. It's their quest to win a USA Softball Major Men's National Championship will continue. The final, Gremlins 7, Hill United Chiefs. No score for Luciano Lafrano, Carol DeReste, Jim Flanagan. So long from Devon Park in Oklahoma City.
Hey everyone, I'm Amanda Lorenz from the women's national team. My journey as a female athlete started when I was 5 years old, just a crazy kid with a lot of energy. My parents put me in softball to hopefully channel some of that energy positively, and I just absolutely fell in love with competing and being around friends and learning, and I'm just so thankful that they put me in softball because the love has grown from there. Some barriers that I've faced from being a female athlete is feeling like I'm one of the ones at the top of my game, but not feeling like we can really build a living off of that. So having to juggle some different jobs to keep training and trying to stay at the best of my sport while trying to make money to live. When I think about the future of women's sports, I get so excited because the opportunities keep growing year after year, and I'm just so thankful for the ones that came before me because I feel like my generation is the one really benefiting from all of their work. So I just keep seeing more opportunities, more money, and the ability for us to play this sport for as long as possible. Young girls starting out in sports, my advice to you is to keep going, be passionate. It is so cool to be a female athlete. So take that and run with it. It's so cool to be passionate and keep getting after it.